This sketchpad construction will demonstrate the underlying principles of trigonometry. What we have here is a right triangle with a 30-degree angle roughly. The hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent sides have been marked. The hypotenuse is of course opposite the 90-degree angle and is the longest side in the right triangle. The opposite side of the 30-degree angle is across from it. The adjacent is sharing one of the angle arms with the 30-degree angle. We've measured each of these sides. Now we've also constructed the ratio of the opposite over the adjacent, the opposite over the hypotenuse, and the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Notice that we've come up with these values. Now, if we decide to change the size of this triangle, either make it smaller or larger, the power trig is that these ratios will not change. So if I take point B and drag it in, notice that the values or the measures of the sides change, but the ratios don't. If I pull it back out, the angle is still 30 degrees. The only thing that's changing is the lengths of these sides. And continue to pull out, make the triangle much bigger. The ratios stay the same. We can verify this. I know that you're not seeing these numbers change, but if we want to check, we can calculate and take the measure of the opposite side divided by the measure of the adjacent, and we should get 0.58, and you can see that's exactly what we get. We can try the measure of the opposite divided by the measure of the hypotenuse. We should get roughly 0.5 or a half, and you can see that's what we have. So again, the power trig is that these ratios will never change regardless of the size of this triangle. If I decide to change the size of the angle, then these will change. If I make the angle slightly bigger, notice that the side lengths have changed, but so have the ratios. But if I decide to leave the angle and just change the lengths of the sides again, the ratios stay the same, even though the side lengths are changing. That's the power trig, and that's what we will rely on to solve problems involving right triangles.